Normalcy is just being restored around Lagos after last week's near state of lawlessness, which led to the destruction of billions of naira worth of infrastructure, not forgetting the loss of precious human lives. Different estimates have been put forward regarding the cost of the carnage. But whatever it comes to, at the end of the day, the emerging consensus is that it will amount to another unnecessary stretch on scarce public resources for government to be able to replace lost property. However, for Lagosians, as the indigents are fondly called, this crisis may have ignited a conversation on the relationship between political leaders in the state and people at the grassroots. Joining us now to talk about this is Chief Bode George, retired naval officer and indigent of Lagos, former military administrator of Ondo State, former chairman of the board of the Nigerian Ports Authority, and former deputy chairman of the People's Democratic Party. Good morning, Chief Bode George, and thank you for joining us. Good morning.
A very good morning to you too.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Well, quickly, you had a press conference on Tuesday here in Lagos on the shootings at the Lekki Toll Gate Plaza and the protest, the EndSARS protest. And when you had that press conference, you said the irreducible minimum that will help to restore peace and placate the angry youths who were protesting there will be to remove the two Lekki toll gates, to scrap Alpha Beta and the Lekki Concession Company, and to stop the advert signage contract awarded to Seyi Tinubu, and also to reverse the title of the Yaloja of Lagos, and then fourthly, to do something of the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers in Lagos State, which has become, according to you, a wing of the APC. But the criticism is that you were talking politics, because what exactly is the connection between all of these items that I have listed and your point about what government should do? But we'll take a quick thought of that, your press conference, and then we'll come back to you.
In summary, let me reiterate the irreducible minimum acceptable to placate the angry, the restless youths, in order to restore peace, fairness, and equity in our state. A, the two toll gates should be dismantled immediately and permanently. Alpha, Beta, and Lekki Concession Company should be scrapped. The advert signage monopoly given to Seyi Tinubu should be withdrawn forthwith. The Yaloja title should be withdrawn from Sade Tinubu and be given to the individual who deserves it according to tradition. The NURTW, which has become the militia wing of the APC in Lagos State, should be reorganized and removed from the ambit and the control of political actors. The prodigal allowances given to members of the Lagos State Assembly should also be scrapped. There should be free education from primary to secondary school level in Lagos State. And lastly, free healthcare services must be given to the needy. All these can be easily funded from the outrageous allowances and pension schemes given to both serving and former public office holders. Finally, let justice prevail over the graves of the Lekki toll gate heroes and the millions of members of the Sorosoke generation still wasting away in our cities and the slums. May God bless our nation and heal our wounds.
Well, Chief Bode George, there you have that press conference. So the question is, you've been accused of playing politics with something that should go beyond politics, particularly as you seem to be playing PDP versus APC politics. What's your response?
You know, when I listened to you now saying that I am playing politics with it, politics of what? Yes, I said at the beginning of my conversation that this is not a partisanship. Our youths, the future leaders of this country, came out. It started with the EndSARS. Before you knew it, caught the attention of many Nigerians. And I must tell you something. When I listened to the contents, the commitment, the bravery exhibited by these future leaders, it encouraged me. In any situation like this, when you have a crisis, there are things you call the pre-causes, the immediate causes, and then, of course, what the future will hold. No, unfortunately, we don't teach history now in our schools. Things like this had happened before. And the essence of history is to prevent a reoccurrence, to avoid the pitfalls of the past. When I looked deep into it, in fact, I called to let you know that this has nothing to do with politics. I spoke to the PDP governor in Oyo State that he should link up with the governor of Lagos State. There are some certain lapses that must be corrected because, like they say in my part of the world, if heavens are falling, who is free? Like he started to roll, you can never conclude that, oh, it will be APC or PDP. Those people who are either been arrested or been shot dead, or did they put anything on their heads to identify them whether they are APC or PDP? So going to the depth of it, that was why I said, now these kids, the youths have said, they have graduated, no jobs, they are always being harassed by the members of SARS. I didn't know about all this until they started complaining about it. Of course, in every organization in life, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. And spontaneously, the government accepted that and said, please, stop it. But there are still some underlying issues that were agitating their minds. Lack of employment, the stupendous amount raked in through these toll gates. You know, who first of all constructed that road to Ekpe? It was our old man, Baba Jakonde, who did it. He didn't complete it. Bola Mudashiru, my classmate, finished the road. And when Bola came, he expanded it and then put about 2 toll gates, even on that road. When there were too many agitations and concerns, and they reduced it to 1. The next thing was another parallel one on the bridge. Now, who controls this? This is a humongous amount of money that is collected on a daily basis. Imagine with this COVID situation, a lot of people have lost their jobs. Petty traders and even middle-class traders and even the high-level traders are losing money. And now you compounded that with these toll gates. So what now, when, the number, how many years have these toll gates been there? Who is collecting the money? I was told, they say, oh, it's also a part of the revenue of the state government. You mean if you make any contribution, it is political? I'm a Lagosian. I want peace in my state. We contacted the governor after his first maiden speech, after the crisis, that look, Sheyi, please, that's the governor of Oyo, contact your counterpart in Lagos, let him tone down his voice, because the tension is pretty high. The younger generation are getting so angry. Now, if you go to my own Lagos Island, my local government, hundreds and thousands and millions of young hands jobless. What do you do? That's why I also suggested they must have skill acquisition program. Very easy to do. Some will learn carpentry, just pick up a trade, masonry, tailoring, or hairdressing, and all that. And government can sponsor them by making sure that they allocate a certain amount of money in their budget, all right? That once you graduate from FIRO runs that kind of a program. Once you graduate, they give you a stipend, a free loan to start your own business. That is engaging them, because always an idle hand is a devil's workshop. You know, when they started, the young minds, they didn't allow all these miscreants to join them. I listened to them. It gladdened my heart that, look, if we could have these young minds who were so clear in their thoughts, very articulate and peaceful, then the future of this country is guaranteed. What about public health for them? This is the COVID period. What else do you have that you can use to assuage the pain of these people? Those who are from the middle class or the upper class families, it is their parents. We have a saying we call from cradle to grave. You must support them. Even if they get married, they have children, you have to keep on supporting them. My parents, after graduating from school, that was it. We started taking care of them. But the system has collapsed. There is too much stealing, too much corruption,
Indeed,
too much
sir.
rottenness in the system.
Indeed, sir.
Look at just next door to you here. You have the Falomo shopping mall that was built by Brigadier Bode Johnson. You know what they have there now? The horse stable for Bola Tinubu's son. What kind of madness is that? You know, these are our heritage. Look at the end of Abiola Road there, the nursing home. We can't even train nurses anymore in Lagos State. These are issues where I am talking as an elder statesman. I'm in my mid-70s. So what am I afraid of? If I can't say it, I hope if things go well, fine. If things don't go well, our children, these same youths will come and exhume our bodies and be mad with us. Today, every day, we keep talking about Papa Olowo, talking about Herbert Macaulay, talking about our heroes past because of their contribution. The greed is too much. It is humongous, it is terrible, it is unacceptable in a civilized... Look at even all the lagoon. You know, have you seen what has happened? They've over-sanfilled it. When it rains, it's no longer the poor that suffer. Come to my house when it rains. Water will be streaming from the back of the house straight through the living quarters into the front page. So that means I am back in the Navy. This is not acceptable.
You've painted quite a vivid picture, sir, but I'd like to go back to one of your proffered solutions of dismantling the toll. You'll recall that last year, Honorable Minister Fashola got approval of the Federal Executive Council to reinstate toll plazas on federal roads. And what his rationale was a reminder of the purpose of tolling on roads or any bridge. You pay that tax to use it. It goes to recover the cost of building that bridge, and it also goes for maintenance. Would it not be more helpful in the case of Lagos State today, which is 1 trillion naira in the hole as a result of the mayhem that was unleashed after the EndSARS protests, for us to suggest revising those concessions so that they're more favorable to Lagos State as opposed to scrapping them entirely and closing that stream of income?
You know, like I said, it is an intrastate road. What is the government for? Is it not to make life more meaningful to the commuters, to those people who queued up on election day and supposedly voted you into office? You know, let me describe what my teacher, old professor, told me. Democratic governance is the utilization of the resources of your land for the benefit of the people. You are saying they didn't recover it. There are so many leakages in the Lagos state government purse. Take this Alpha Beta. Who owns the Alpha Beta? What is the essence of the Alpha Beta? Where else in the world? I am challenging them. Would you have an IRS? That's the Inland Revenue Service. And then they have their own staff who are supposed to go out and collect the things. But you have an independent company. Who owns that company? To be collecting supposedly collecting the internally generated revenue from my state. It grosses around 50 billion, 50 billion a month. You know how much that company is paid? 15% of it. Let's mathematically say it's 50 billion a month. 15% of that is 7.5 billion in 30 days going to a company. That is a leakage. That is sacrilegious. So you can have your savings from that. Now, this toll gate has been going on now. You know how much they gross averagely a day and in a year? That would have paid off for that, for that road, whatever it is. Now, it is there. It is, in fact, what I am proposing is that we should now, once the report of the panel is given, and it must not be in secret, let's hear them. Let's listen to the report. After that, those who die there, I would, with my friends, make sure we have a permanent monument in memory of those people that died there. Because they were exercising their civilized entitlement to make sure that these people who are collecting all these fees were just pocketing them. Look at the former governor of Lagos State. He has 3 executive jets, private jets. The other one with 900X can fly from Lagos to New York. Where is his business? What business does he do? Look at the amount of money they pay each governor at the end of every year as pension. Pension for what? I served in the military. You know how much my pension is? You know how much I take home after 25 years of military service? 400,000 naira a month. If you go to Abuja 2 or 3 times, that's the end of it. I retired also as a general. But why are you paying them that humongous amount of money? These are the leakages in the system. They should close it, set up skill acquisition for the people, and they can afford. If they are able to tighten up all those areas of leakages, free primary education with a school meal per day per child, they will remember them. We are, because I'm from Lagos Island, each time I go to Lagos Island, it's hell. You see these young, handsome, brilliant-looking faces, but there is nothing encouraging them. That is not the way to run a system. If all our former governors, from Brigadier Johnson to Marwa, have carted away all the money, what would they meet? Go to all the riverine areas now, Sandfield. Even the Kurama water is no longer there. The Kurama water used to be the buffer for Lagos Lagoon, for the rise and fall, for the tide. But it's what do you want to do with all that money?
Okay, sir.
Okay, the leakages are the things that I am bothered about, and they won't stop it. We are asking Governor Sanwo-Olu to look into it with all those people in the State Assembly, because the first thing they tell you, oh, it has been approved. It went through approval. Does that make any sense? And it is because of, now coming to politics, it is because of the type of management that we have in the electoral process.
Okay, sir, I quickly just want to chip in here and still ask you about that toll gate. There are contracts, there were contracts signed, and there were agreements reached before now about the toll gates. Are you saying we should just remove those contracts? I mean, because a lot of people would like to query that, owing to the fact of what happened to Nigeria recently, or that is still going on as regards the PNID case. So are you saying we should negate that contract and go to another set of arbitration? And secondly, you said a lot, create skill acquisition. But is that the kind of jobs these young people need today?
You bet.
These great Nigerians, you know, because most of them have degrees abroad, they're empowered, they can do all sorts of things. Is it skill acquisition jobs that still put food on their table?
You know, my brother, there are two levels. There are two levels of people. Those who are university graduates. I also have children. They complete their first degree, you tell them, because there's no job, go to the second degree, the third degree, and they keep acquiring the laurels. Nowhere for them to exercise the knowledge that I've acquired. That is one group. I am happy. I read a report yesterday that Governor Sanwo-Olu has given employment. He's going to give employment to about 4,000 youths, graduates. What about the millions at the base of the pyramid who have nothing? Those are the ones that require skill acquisition program. It's not novel, it's not new. When Jonathan was in government, the PDP government at that time started that scheme at Firo. I thought Oga will continue. When they got there, they scrapped it. They were producing people, artisans every three months, every month. And of course, they arranged them in a manner of cooperatives. So they give them interest-free loan to start off. Lagos can afford that. You can see, look at the rail line from Badagry, the road from Badagry to the National Theatre, and then back to the marina. Who is on that job now? Abandoned projects everywhere. Look at those houses they were building near Lagos Island. At Ilubiri there, abandoned. Nothing. I mean, we can let them sit down, let them have some empathy, I want them to come, party or no party. Someone who also grew up in Lagos, yes, I know the family house, they know my house. Let's walk through the Lagos Island. And Lagos Island is just one out of the 20. Go to Alimosho, go to Mushin, go to Oshodi Solo, and those road safety, whatever they call them. Those boys, Oluomo, they are making tons and tons of money. Those money can be transferred to rebuilding and reshaping this nation, our state, and make it buoyant. This state can stand as on equal basis with Houston, with New York. Lagos is wealthy. They are looting.
Well, Chief, I understand your concerns about Lagos State and the views you have expressed. There will be many that will agree with you, but I still need you to clarify certain things because you repeatedly refer to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes.
Either referring to him directly or his daughter or his son. Yes. And when I raised the question about politics, I was trying to say, well, what has the chieftaincy of Iyaloja of Lagos got to do with EndSARS project? What has MC Oluomo, whom you just mentioned, or his sidekick, Kunle Poli, what have they got to do with the politics of Lagos? That's okay. The clarification I will need from you.
I will be too happy to answer you, Ruben.
Yes, sir.
Where is, traditionally, those who are appointed as geologists would have had a track record of trading in Lagos. Why his daughter, who never had a single kiosk in Lagos, who appointed her? Where was her market? Which market experience does she have? That's one. We knew what happened, they manipulated it. Secondly, it has nothing to do with a personal thing. It's an observation. And if I am wrong, let him come out and tell me that, yes, she was duly appointed or elected because she has a stall at Baja, or has a stall at Isaleko, or has a stall in mainland. Where is her stall? Where is her stall? Now, the young man, the other boy, his son, Sheyi, he controls the whole signage for Lagos. Everybody who wants to put up an advert on any signboard, you go to his company alone. Is that justifiable? Does that make any sense? And you think people will not know? Ashegbe Osi now, come over to your studio here across. The first shopping mall, which was a pride to all of us in Lagos State, was constructed by Brigadier Bode George during his tenure. They demolished it. You know what is there now? Seyi Tinubu is keeping his horses. His horses. Private, personal horses there. Where is that pride? Where is our heritage gone? Look at the local government secretariat, Ikoyi Obalende secretariat, that had been in existence since the British were here. Go and see now the junction of Glover and Kingsway, what they have turned it into. Who bought it? Who has the building there? Go to the end of your road here, on Awolowo Road, near the police mess, the nursing hostel. Mrs. Von Richards will be turning in her grave now. These were things that General Bode George contributed and built as a heritage. This was the only nursing hostel for training of nurses in Lagos State. Since they had driven those children away from there, we don't train nurses anymore in Lagos State. You mean the public health has no bearing? It is too much. Otoge.
Well, that was the slogan that was used in Kwara, but it didn't quite work out in Lagos. You might want to explain your thoughts on why that did not quite work out during the last elections. The Otoge Lagos movement did not work.
You know why?
Why, sir?
I tell you. Until I have been talking to the chairman of INEC. We had worked together before. I know him as a very civilized, very humble, very committed gentleman. All right? In fact, at the national conference, he was the man in charge of the money. Nobody, not one participant, complained about mismanagement. So since then, he became my friend. He came recently to Lagos to give an interview, and I was there. And I told him openly, open question, please, we are now in a new technology age. When I was in the university over 50 years ago, our computer room could have been as big as this, analog computers. But microchips, mini computers, the technology is available. If you open an account in a bank and you have a cell phone, if somebody puts money in your account, no matter where you are, you get an alert. If somebody removes 1 kobo from your account, you get an alert. That tells you that the technology for communication, either data or otherwise, are readily available. So let us modernize the electoral process. Let the president please sign the bill that is waiting for electronic voting in this country. Because when you go to the polling station, you swipe your card, your PVC, it recognizes you, and the button, the light shows green, which means it's you. So what stops you from pressing the button? But you know what happened? When you finish voting, it's all handwritten, recorded. And from the local units, polling station, to the collation center, the papers are carried by hand. You know what happens between that place and the collation center? So many things happen. And then the last election, you remember Professor Jega was standing there. He was waiting for results, physically being brought from state to state. Come on, we're now in a new age. In France, the last presidential election, when the election closed by 6:37, by 9 o'clock, the other woman who lost to Macron took her phone and called to congratulate him. That is the system we can do effectively in this country. Not waiting for people to physically carry results. So all the shenanigans that are going on, it's not acceptable. That is the effect we are all seeing. Because look at those young minds there. When you listen to them, some of them said they want to go into politics. I said, fine, let's have the best of our hands to go into politics. Politics is not a dirty game, and if it's dirty, let's go in there and clean it out. Don't stay at home and be complaining. Come and join. Allow those who, the low-level people who have no degree, who have no education, who have no, they will tell you they have this kind of LLB, BL. They went to the Supreme Court to check for our speaker in the State Assembly here, that he says he's a lawyer, he's a LLB, BL. The Supreme Court returned their report that his name is not there. I mean, come on, you know, look, the world is an open-ended thing and no secret. Please, we can do much better. We can do more. The federal government must, as a matter of urgency, take up the report of the last constitutional conference. There must be a restructuring to make governance closer to the people. It is too distant, and it is like a military organization. We must devolve power to the states. And so if there is a governor in a state that knows that the people actually voted for him, you think he will treat them shabbily? Then he will come back in 4 years. So those are serious issues that are plaguing our nation, and we can pull out of it. Where is that giant of Africa? For every 7 Africans you meet, 5 of them are Nigerians. I listened to somebody talking from Ghana yesterday, insulting this nation. What is the total population of Ghana? Is it up to Lagos State? And look at our size. From Sokoto to Calabar, from Borno to Lagos, from Jigawa to the Delta. It's a massive nation. And for me, the restructuring, the devolution we are talking about affects also the police. I know in any organization you have the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The IG can do whatever and try the most he can. It is grossly inadequate. 400,000 policemen to man over 200 million people. And every policing is community-oriented. So it's not working. This system is not working. And we should please, Oga has enough time between now and 2023 to reshape this country, to restructure this country. What is wrong in having, just like the Americans will have? Even despite that, they still have problems. They have local police, local government police, they have the state police, and then they have the national police, the FBI. Very efficient. So we do not look at it as if it's one fixated system. The world is growing. We must grow with it. We ourselves must grow. I want to leave a system. When I pass on, because I can't live for more than 25 years. I'll be a nuisance to my children. You know, because I'll be 100 years old at that time. What am I going to be looking for? But let's leave a system. My great-granduncle was Abad Macaulay. It was the same fight all over, trying to convince Nigerians that we could manage ourselves, we could run ourselves, let's get independence. Papa didn't think about north, south, east, or west. He traveled to Kano, came back, and caught pneumonia. That's how he died. So we are continuing that battle. You know what happened to him?
Thank you, sir.
You know the present location of the General Post Office in Marina? That was where his house was situated. And they wanted to obliterate his name completely. That's why they built the house that should have been a monument. They now turned it out into General Post Office. Yeah. Please, Nigeria, we should be, I am privileged to have worked in the military. In the military, we don't fight wars by saying one Yoruba here, next Hausa man, or Fulani man, Igbo man. The camaraderie there has brightened us up. It has made us who we are today. But Ijo, like they say in my local parlance, Ijo Konsherujo, there can be peace if you have and I don't have. It's simple.
Well, thank you very much, Chief Bode George, for joining us on the morning show. So much to still talk about. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.